I would like to ask you to give me 1 minute of your time, but I think you have all the minutes in the world right now. Isn't that interesting how the world can be on a standstill just for one issue? No one on this earth would have imagined that something like this could happen. No one on this earth would imagine that the whole world would be at a standstill at the same time for one reason: a virus. No one would have ever imagined. That's how small this life is. And while we get so much news, we're getting so much news right now from the media, different social platform, different people having different narrative to this coronavirus situation. Today, I want to really take time to talk about that part of the conversation that nobody's talking about right now, but I think is really essential as we move forward from this, because trust me, like every season we've been through, whether it's winter, summer, whatever type of season, dry season, rainy season, this is just another season and another phase in our life that we're going to be talking about in a few years, in a few months. Is going to be an history. So why the current situation is really difficult, it's challenging, it's traumatizing for some people. Although it's the same situation everywhere, not everyone is actually consuming or reacting to the situation the same way. So I understand that this is not the best situation anyone wants to be right now. But the part and the conversation nobody's talking about is, it's not all bad. Trust me, like, it's not all that bad. We could have been in a worse situation. This could have been worse. It's just a virus that people are working night and day trying to find a solution to. And very soon, we will go back to our life. The solution will be found. There will be a treatment for it. And I pray it's soon so that we can all go back to our routine. But until then, how we are actually reacting to this situation would really make and break us, because there's going to be life after, and that's going to be when the challenge is going to kick in. That's when it's going to be most challenging. Not even now that the storm is on, it's actually when the storm is over, when we are all trying to pick up the pieces of our lives. So I really want to encourage you guys listening to me today with this few minutes video to remind you that this situation, it really depends on you. How you are controlling the narrative in your head. Are you seeing it as, oh, this is the worst thing in my life right now, this is the worst stage, this is bad, this is terrible, we're never going to recover from this? If you lost your job, oh my god, I'm never going to recover from this, I'm never going to get another job, I lost my job. Or if you have children at home you're trying to feed and the money income is not enough, however you are actually thinking of this situation right now, it's going to determine how this situation works out for you, whether it's going to be good or bad. If you lost your job, I want to say I'm very sorry. I'm very sympathetic with your situation. I know it's not really where we ought to be, where you wanted to be or you plan to be starting this year. But if you think about it, maybe it was about time that God needed you to make a change. Maybe it's about time that you start thinking of that business idea you've always had in mind to start and you never got around to it because your job was taking so much of your time. And maybe it's that field that you've been wanting to change, that managerial position you've been wanting to apply for but it's not available at your company. This is the time that you're going to reapply for that new position. How are you seeing your situation right now? I know it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough the next couple of months without income. Trust me, it's going to be tough even with people with income. It's going to be a tough one. But let's remember, there's no gold without fire. And out of every crisis is where creativity comes from. Out of every crisis is where solutions are born from. I was reading Harvard Business Review the other day, and one of the things that struck me the most is they traced US, who is the top of creativity, top of innovation, that the country's creativity spiked after World War II. So it's always interesting that after every crisis, after every turbulent period like this, and a global pandemic like this that we are going through right now, there tend to be a new innovation, a new creativity, a new idea, a new opportunity. So I would really want to encourage all of you listening to me today that whatever situation you find yourself during this global pandemic, whether you are stuck at home with your family, your children, who is driving you crazy right now. I know a lot of parents, a lot of mothers are going through really tough time having all the children in the same house. I want you to take a step back and start thinking, maybe this is the opportunity. We all work so hard, we all work so much trying to provide for our family that we have very little time to actually bond with them. This is opportunity for you to bond with your children. This is opportunity to get to know those children more closely, better, for them to get to know you as a parent. I'm not saying they don't know you, but there are certain things that if you're around people for 24 hours a day, that gets to reveal itself to you versus when you are around them maybe 5-6 hours a day. So this is the opportunity. If you're a couple, newlywed, you're in a relationship and you're in the house right now stuck together, this is an opportunity to get to bond, to learn things, to learn new activities, to get creative together. If you're a single person living by yourself alone, that can be hard. But this is also another opportunity for you to understand how you do well by yourself. I go out so much that by the time I get home at night, it's probably 1 p.m. in the morning, 1 a.m. in the morning, and the next day life goes on again. There's work and so on and so forth. But one thing I've come to appreciate during this quarantine is how much I haven't even spent time in my own space. How much, even though when I'm in my space and my head is like planning the next day, planning the next week, the next trip, and all of those stuff. But right now, there's really nothing to plan. You can't really plan for anything when you don't know when everything is going to go back to normal. So you are forced to be in your space, the right here, right now, to enjoy every moment and everything you see. And that has really been very eye-opening for me, how much I have around me, but I really haven't spent time to appreciate them. I haven't really spent time to take them all in. And because of that, I've become very appreciative of how far I've come, how much this place I am right now really means to me, and how blessed I am to even be able to be here, knowing very well there are so many families who doesn't even have as much space or as much that I have right now, or as many people in the world right now who are struggling in this process. So there's that appreciation, that awakening of how we just want to keep going, and we don't take time to know or appreciate how far we've come. So my point is, while you are stuck in the house right now, what can you do? What have you been thinking of doing that you haven't gotten to? What do you want to do when all this is over? What's your plan? Are you going to go back to that same old person? This is the time to reflect. Are there things that you'll be putting aside to do that you want to get to that you haven't done in so long? This is the time. There's no barber shop to go to. There is no hairdressing. There's no nail salon. There's no traveling. There's no walk. There's no going to hang out with friends. There's no church. So this is the opportunity for you as an individual, to spend time with yourself, to spend time in your thoughts, to get creative, to appreciate the people you have in your life. You're spending time with family, to get to know them in depth, to talk about stories you haven't had time to talk about, dwell on memories that you've shared together before, and create one right now that you have the opportunity to actually be with them. You don't know when next you're going to have this opportunity ever again. Hopefully it's not because of coronavirus, but what I'm saying is opportunity presents itself once in a lifetime. And this is not what they're saying in the media. They are telling you the numbers of people that are dying from coronavirus, the numbers of people the cases that they are finding in your city, in your state. That's not to say that those information are not important. Take precaution, listen to the information, but don't overwhelm yourself with all the negative news that you're hearing on TV. Take as much as you need to take as much information that you need in, and then just shut down. My TV is off. It's been off for 2 weeks. The only thing I do is maybe catch up on shows once in a while. I read my news just to get updates and get the precautions, and that's about it. Control the amount of negative information you want to take in. Get the right source of information and clear your mind. Focus your energy on the positive thing. Get creative. Use that energy for positivity. There is no space for anxiety when you have a clear intention, a clear understanding, a clear mind. If you've actually cleansed your mind and say, okay, this is a crisis, this is a situation that I don't want to be in, but it is happening right now. This is the reality. I can't control the situation, but I can control how I react to it. I can control not being sad. I can control not being anxious. I can control not being afraid. I can control taking precautions and taking measures to be safe with my family. And I can control knowing that now I can spend time with my family. I can spend time with my boyfriend, girlfriend, partner, whoever you are quarantined with right now. I can spend time with myself if you are alone. I can pick up a book and study. I'll be trying to paint or create art or watch this movie. Do it. This is your retirement that you'll be waiting for. You're doing retirement at a young age. Take the opportunity. Think of it that way. Think of it in a positive light, because that's the way you're going to get through it without coming out with some anxiety problem or some medical issues that is more related to coronavirus. Because I bet you, if you continue with the fear approach, if you continue with the anxiety approach, that's where a lot of people commit suicide at the end of the day, because they're looking at all the bills they had to acquire, not having a job during this period, or looking at the situation they feel like is worse, it's too bad that they're never going to recover from. People only commit suicide or go into the anxious mode when they feel like the situation they are in is permanent. Like I said at the beginning, this is a season. In the season of summer is when you prepare for winter. You want to buy winter clothes in the summer because it's cheaper, it's easier. You want to buy the summer clothes in the winter because it's cheaper and easy for you to prepare for the summer, knowing that winter is not going to last. You prepare for the next season because you know that season you are in is not going to last. Coronavirus is a season. Don't let anyone tell you any differently. It's a tough season we are in. It's a disturbing season, a challenging one, but it is a season. It's going to pass. And when it does pass, if you are better prepared for this new season that is coming, you're going to see how much great things that you will benefit from it. You will see that if you get creative now, if you're building on your ideas, if you are learning how to cook, if you have not learning an instrument, learning how to play something, once this season is over, the benefits you will get in the next season because you prepared during this season is going to be mind-blowing. I really encourage you, my friends. And if you're in a position right now in this season that you can lend a hand to a friend, you can support other people, your neighbors, let's reach out. If you are strong enough mentally to carry other people along who aren't as strong as you are, a word of encouragement, a phone call, a check-in. I know there's social distancing, but there are some neighbors who might be sick upstairs that they can't even reach out to the hospital. With all the precautions that you can take those precautions and try to say hello to them, try to check on them, try to make sure that they are doing well as much as you can, as well as without risking your health in the process. But most importantly, protect your mind this period. It's really important that the way you see this situation, you control it, not because of the narrative that we are hearing, but because you understand that this is a bad situation, this is a crisis, but it is only temporary and it's not going to last. This is a season that will be over soon, and the next season will be better and bigger. After every night, there is always morning, and mornings are always bright and full of opportunities and new ways to rewrite our story. This is an opportunity. The world is at a standstill because there's need for change. Don't be stuck in the old ways. Don't be stuck in your head. Don't be stuck in your fears. Use this opportunity wisely. When we are comfortable, change is always so inconvenient for us. But when we are faced with crisis, when we are faced with situations like this, where we don't have a choice but to think of new ways, to think of new creative ways of doing things, that's where growth comes from. That's where inventions come from. That's where we get creative. That's where we think outside the box. That's where America, we used to think that they have it all figured out when it comes to health. How, like the great America, being afraid that they will not be able to handle a pandemic like coronavirus, that gets to tell them that they are not as good as they thought they used to be. What this means is, after the situation, they will want to be better prepared for a situation like that in the future. They will want to be prepared for anything like this if it ever happens. Well, that means they will be thinking outside the box. That means they will want instruments, more doctors, more nurses. They know they need that. They know they don't have that much. They know they need more ventilation. But if this hasn't happened, we'll always think we're the best, because there has never been a challenge. There has not been a crisis. So this is not all that bad. It depends on how you think about it. There is a reason for every season, and every season has its own benefit. So let's tap into that energy. Let's tap into that positivity. Let's tap into what that true purpose is for this season, why God is doing what He's doing, why God wants us to be on a standstill at this time, the beginning of a decade, because He wants to launch us into the creativity we need for the next 10, 20, 50 years to come. Let's not lose that. Let's not lose the lesson in the process, because the greatest lesson most times is in between the crisis. It's in between the process. Let's take that lesson so we can blossom after this whole pandemic is over. I really wish we do that. I really hope that we do that, because no one is talking about that right now. But it's going to be tough after this is over. But the lesson we learn from it is going to take us far. It's going to make us grow new seed in our lives, grow new opportunities in our life, grow new financial revenues in our life. And we're going to be testifying and be happy that this did happen. Thank you for listening. This is a conversation with Gift Patrick. I hope you've enjoyed and gotten the point. Coronavirus is just a season, and it will be over soon. Until my next episode, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page, Gift Patrick, and my Instagram page. Follow my Instagram page for daily quotes, gift_Patrick_. Until then, stay safe. My prayers and love are with you and your family, and wash your hands, sanitize, stay home.